Hey guys, this is Arren here, and I am going to start playing the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works route. I'm actually quite excited to play this route. The new Season 2 of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works anime is actually out like a couple of days ago, and it was just a great start, and I'm really excited about it. And UFO Table, which is a animation studio that runs that anime adaptation right now, did a great job. Every single episode just like amazes me. It's just like pure quality. It's just eye candy. The music is well done. The scenes are just beautiful. The animations are actually one of the best that I've ever seen in animes, and that says a lot, as I do watch a ton of animes. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, first day. Recollection of 10 years ago. Morning rebirth. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood. I've created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life, have withstood pain to create many weapons. Yet those hands will never hold anything. So, as I play Unlimited Blade Works. In case you guys are wondering, this route is more about Archer instead of Saber's route. And it's more about Rin Tosaka Rin as well. In case you don't know who those characters are, just disregard what I said, because those are kind of spoilers if I go into details who they are. Alright, anyways, long dash line. When I came to, I was in a burning field. I guess there was a big fire. The familiar town had turned to ashes, and it looked like the remains of a battlefield from a movie. But that didn't last long either. The fire had died down by the time the sun rose. The tall wall of flame had shortened, and most of the buildings had fallen. It felt strange, being the only thing in that place that still had its original form. I was the only one still alive around here. I must have been really lucky, or my house was built in a very lucky spot. I don't know which it was, but the point was I was the only one left alive. It's a very morbid beginning. But the anime is pretty dark itself. Anyways, I felt that since I survived, I should live on. I started walking aimlessly because I thought it would be dangerous just to stay here. There. I wasn't really concerned about being burned up like the people lying around me. Because over and above not wanting to be like them, I had a stronger feeling in my mind. Still, I had no hope. It was like already a wonder I was still alive, so I couldn't expect to be saved. I won't survive whatever happens. I won't be able to escape from this red world. It was such an absolute hell that even a small child could understand it. And I collapsed. Was it because there was no air? Or was it because no function was left in my body? Anyhow, I collapsed and stared up at the clouded sky. Everything around me was burned up, and I could see many shriveled people. The dark clouds loomed overhead, telling me it would rain soon. That's good. Fire will be put out once it rains. Unless it's magical fire. In the end, I sighed deeply and looked up to the sky. I say to myself that it hurts. I say so on behalf of all the people who couldn't even say so. That was 10 years ago. After that, I was miraculously saved. My body survived, but I think all the other things about me burned up and were reduced to ashes. If you take away a child's parents, home and all such things, there's nothing left for him. That's why there was only my body. I think it's a simple story. In other words, in order to let my body live, my heart died. It's so sad. I'm dreaming. I squint my eyes at the white light. So bright, I think. It was just light entering my eyes when I woke up, but I'm not used to it yet. I probably didn't even understand what the bright light meant. When my eyes focused, I'm surprised. I'm lying on an unfamiliar bed in an unfamiliar room. I'm surprised, but the room is so white and clean that I feel safe.
どこだろう、ここ。
I look around. The room is big, and there are many beds, a person in each bed, and everyone seems to be hurt. But nothing feels ill in this room. Everyone who's hurt is someone who was saved. Dash line. I relax and let my eyes wander. Outside the window, the blue sky was unbelievably beautiful. After a few days, I finally understood. I could clearly remember what had happened in the past few days. Even so, I was no different from a newborn baby. No, not just a metaphor, it was close to the truth. Anyway, it was a terrible fire. I had been saved from it. Was in the hospital with my body wrapped in bandages, and my parents were gone. I didn't even get the situation, but I vaguely understood that I was alone. I think I understood quickly. Well, there's nothing but children in similar situations around me, so all I could do was absorb the fact. And after that fact, that man came. Right when I was beginning to worry what would happen to me next. He came on the day my bandages were taken off, and I was able to eat without help. Wrinkle-coated and uncombed hair. That man, a bit younger than the doctor, felt more like a big brother than a father.
こんにちは。君がシロー君だね。
A smile that seems to melt into the white sunlight. I think it was a suspicious voice, but a very kind voice.
率直に聞くけど、孤児院に預けられるのと、初めて会ったおじさんに引き取られるの、君はどっちがいいかな？
That man was saying he could adopt me. When I asked him if he was a relative of mine, he just said he was just a stranger. He looked like an unreliable guy with no future, but it made no difference as I knew nothing about either him or the orphanage. So I decided to go with him.
そうか。よかった。なら早く身支度を済ませよう。新しい家に一日でも早く慣れなくっちゃいけないからね。
The guy quickly started packing my stuff. His packing wasn't very good, even in the eyes of a child. Then after making a big mess, that's what she said?
おっと、大切なことを言い忘れた。うちに来る前に、一つだけ教えなくちゃいけないことがある。
He turns to me lighthearted and says,
はじめに言っておくとね、僕は魔法使いなんだ。
He says in a serious, exaggerated tone. It happened in an instant. Instant. Come to think of it now, I was really a child back then. I automatically believed those words.
うわぁ、じいさんすごいな。
He's sugoi indeed. Young scallywag. I guess I said so with bright eyes. Since that time, I became his child. I don't even remember what he said back then, but my father would always talk about that day. He would remember and retell the story again and again. So my father, Emiya Kiritsuga. That might have been the happiest day of his life. So? I guess it was strange for my father to tell me that he was a sorcerer, but I was strange as well for admiring that. And thus I became an adopted son. My last name became Emiya. Emiya Shiro. When I said my name, I was very proud of having the same last name as Kiritsuga. Who is a badass? I'm dreaming once again. This white light just fills my screen. A story from my childhood. It was when I finally convinced my father to make me a student, so it might have been 8 years ago, when I was old enough to stay at home by myself. Kiritsuga started to leave the house on a regular basis. He said in his normal tone that he would travel the world and actually act on it on these words. And that's how it was after that day. It was normal for him to leave the house empty for a month, and he would sometimes come home for half a year. The Emiya household is a big Japanese-styled house, and Kiritsuga and I were the only ones living there. I was perplexed in this house at times that it was too big for a child, but I liked it here. Emiya Kiritsuga would come home from his journey and tell me lots of stories like a child. And the child who shared his last name would be at home waiting for the stories. I was always alone in the house. Just that loneliness would all fade with the stories he would bring back. My father, who was always chasing his dreams like a child. His attitude was astounding, but he always seemed to dazzle me. That might be why I wanted to be like him someday. Well, on top of that, 4 dots. Look at my ever-dreaming father. I felt I should become reliable. Myself, long dash line. Screen fades. And now we're in the first day of the 30 of 31 days. Day 1. I hear a sound. I hear a heavy, old, rusty sound as the door opens. Light enters the shed. And sorry about my stuffy nose, it's kind of cold this morning. My mind waking up.
先輩、起きてますか?
Feeling the cold air and the approaching footsteps. Someone wants Senpai to notice her. Don't need to moan that, but well, he did it anyways.
はい。おはようございます、先輩。
Sakura smiles and nods as if accustomed to the situation of watching Shiro sleep.
先輩、朝ですよ。まだ時間はありますけど、ここで眠っていたら藤村先生に怒られます。
そうだな。よく起こしに来てくれた。いつもすまない。
そんなことありません。先輩、いつも朝は早いですから。こんな風に起こしに来れるなんてたまにしかありません。
Question mark, what the hell is she talking about? Thought Shiro. Sakura seems more upbeat than usual today, as if she's happy about something.
そうかな。結構さくらには起こされてるぞ、俺。けど藤姉には叩き起こされるからさくらの方が助かる。これに懲りずに次は頑張る。
I answer with a sleepy head. I don't know what I'm saying with my mind not fully awake.
はい、わかりました。でも頑張ってもらわない方が嬉しいです、私。
She likes watching him sleep, definitely. With that sentence, I'm pretty sure that's a lot of evidence. Sakura is giggling. Teeheehee. Gah. I guess my head was still dozing and I said something weird.
ちょっと待ってくれ。すぐ起きるから。
Cold outdoor air helps in situations like this. The chill works well to beat the sleepiness out of my head. In front of me is Mato Sakura, my junior at school, which Senpai notices right now. This place is a shed. Behind my house and time is 6 o'clock.
先輩、
Yes?
目が覚めた。ごめんな、さくら。またやっちまった。朝の支度手伝わないといけないのに。
そんなのいいんです。先輩、夕べも遅かったんでしょ。なら朝はゆっくりしてください。
She says so in a happy tone. It's unusual. Sakura seems to be in a good mood this morning. Once again, goes back to my theory of her watching you sleep. She probably gets off to that every single night.
バカ、そういうわけにいくか。 今起きるから一緒にキッチンに行こう。よし、準備完了。それじゃあ行こう、
Yes,
さくら。
Vamonos, everyone. Everybody, let's go.
いえ、その先輩。
Notice me more.
なんだよ、他に何かあるのか？
いえ、そういうことではないんですけど、その先輩、家に戻る前に着替えた方がいいと思います。
Come on, Shiro, put on some more clothing. That said, I looked down at myself. I fell asleep while I was working, so I'm still wearing my overalls. Being my work clothes, they're pretty dirty. I can't imagine what Fujine would say to me if I went to the house like this.
まだ目が覚めてないみたいだ。なんか普段に増して抜けてるな、俺。
そうかもしれませんね。ですから朝食の支度は私に任せて、先輩はもう少しゆっくりしていてください。それにほら、ここを散らかしっぱなしにしていたら藤村先生に怒られるでしょ。
Alright, so far the story in this route, the introduction is basically the same as the Fate route.
そうだな。それじゃあ着替えてから行くから、さくらは先に戻っていてくれ。
はい、お待ちしてますね、先輩。
Sakura leaves. Well, she probably didn't leave. She's probably like creeping over there, watching through the window. I have to change into my school uniform and clear up this mess. The shed is built on the edge of a yard, and just as it seems, it's a warehouse we put all our junk in. But for me, it's a place of treasures, as I've enjoyed messing with things since I was a kid. Father didn't allow me to go in the shed, but I always sneaked in here. As a result, it became my base. And there's a reason why he didn't want him to go into the shed, which is, I guess you could infer from the Fate Stay Zero anime series. But anyways, back on track. For me, Emiya Shiro, I guess you could call this place my real room. The big Emiya household doesn't suit me, and I can only relax in this place filled of junk. Maybe because you're junk.
そもそももったいないじゃないか。ガラクタって言ってもまだ使えるし。
Most of the things in here are appliances that can't be used anymore. Did I bring all this junk in here because I like the place, or did I come to like it because of all that junk? Anyhow, since I was always sneaking in here, it became my hobby to fix the things. It's not like I get attached to things. I think it's just annoying to not use things that still can be used, and just like that, I was fixing up the stove all last night.
完成は明日か。途中で寝るなんて集中力が足りない証拠だ。
I shake off the feeling of disappointment in myself. I gather up the parts of the stove and put them on the shelf, full of things waiting to be fixed. There are no spaces on the shelf, full of things awaiting repair. An old VCR waits after the stove. Oh, he still has VCR. I guess I'll ignore the fact that Fujine broke both of them. Yosh. I change into my uniform. This place is like my room. It holds changes of clothes along with other things I need. It also has lots of blueprints and junks and the results of failures from when I do my training. There's also some kind of old design inscribed on the floor, like an altar or something.
さて、今日も一日頑張って精進しよう。
Clapping my hands in prayer, I head for the house. I emerge from the shed. The Emiya household is a Japanese-style house on the outskirts of town. My father wasn't much of a respected person in town, but he somehow still had this huge house. That's on its own a mystery, but also seems he didn't have any relatives in Japan. This was also explained in Fate Stay Zero, which I recommend you guys watch, because it's an excellent anime, which was actually created by has 3 studio who created it. Anyways, back on track. That's why the house became mine and no one else when my father died. Though to be honest, I don't have that kind of management ability. Old man Fujimura is in charge of complicated things like inheritance and property taxes. Old man Fujimura is the big landlord in this town, or neighborhood. According to father, the man's like a Yakuza boss. Of course, this is just prejudice. He's not like a Yakuza boss, he is a Yakuza boss. Dot, 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 dot. Well, that's a problem in itself, but I prefer to ignore it. It's certainly true that he's energetic and scurry, but he's actually not that bad a person. It really helps me as he pays a lot when I tune up the motorcycle he likes to ride on. Anyway, that's why I'm not the only one living in this big house. It's been 5 years since father died. The days have passed quickly. I started thinking about how much I've grown in these 5 years. I've trained every day to be like Kyoritsuga, but it's not that easy in reality. It's natural because I have no talent to begin with, but what can I be said about having no improvement at all in these 5 years? To sum up the present in one sentence, my goal is so far that I'm not even at the starting line yet because you really suck at your training. Obviously. Long dash line. Oh, I guess it won't do any good to rush. For now, I have to do what I can. Well then. Right now I'm gonna be kind of mean in this route. Because last in the Fate route, I'm pretty sure I went to help Sakura, so I'm gonna go finish my daily routine. First day, morning training, dojo scenery. Skip this scene, we're not gonna skip this scene, so cancel. The Emiya household has a big dojo. It was built when the house was built. Okay. It was only intended as a hobby.
Sate.
I will warm up a bit before breakfast. I'm not really studying martial arts, but since father told me, if you want to be like me, you have to train your body first. Oh. It became my daily routine to work out.
99 100
I finish routine sit-ups and change out of my gi into my uniform. Actually, that's not impressive. If it was push-ups, then that's somewhat impressive, since that means he would be in shape. Well, he probably is in shape, though. Anyways, I slept in this morning so I could cut short of my workout. Some sit-ups with no stretching should be enough. I'm not the kind to build up a lot of muscle, and it's not like I want to get into a fight. All I need is enough athletic ability to handle sudden accidents and to move as I wish when I have to. After all, the thing I want to become is the complete opposite of an athlete.
もうこんな時間か。
I put the sweaty gi into the laundry basket. It's 6:20. Actually, it's 8:20 over here. It's in our house. Even this is a late time for breakfast. Breakfast is already prepared. Good job making the woman do all the cooking, you dickhead. I can smell the elegant scents of breakfast befitting Sakura.
お疲れ様でした。こっちも朝食の支度終わりましたよ。
Senpai?
サンキュー。すまん。俺が寝過ごした分、さくらに無理させちまって。
そんな、全然無理なんかじゃないですよ。それに、寝坊なんかじゃありません。先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
部活は関係ないよ。それを言ったら朝練があるさくらがうちに来てくれるのってすごい早起きじゃないか。
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから、部活のことは気にしないでください。
Sure, you're always so dense, not realizing the hints that she gives you all the time.
まあだから俺も部活に関係なく早起きしたいんだ。さくらが来てくれるならその時間には起きてないと失礼だろ。
For me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and sleeping in is making Sakura prepare breakfast on her own, like today. Though this has been a habit for a year and a half, so. Only a year and a half. Okay.
先輩、そういうところこだわりますよね。道釣先輩、エミヤは粗雑なくせに律儀すぎてうるさいって。
I agree that he's kind of annoying. Mitsuzuri, I don't even know how to pronounce that, is the captain of the archery club Sakura is in, and someone I have a lot of acquaintance with. Wink wink.
あいつまだ俺の文句をさくらにこぼしてんのか？
はい。先輩が卒業するまでに何としても社でうならせてやるって毎日頑張ってます。
Foreshadowing.
今じゃあいつのが段位高いだろうに。あれかな、思い出は無敵ってやつかな。美化されてるのは悪い気分じゃないけど、それも人によりけりっていうか。
道釣先輩、すっごく負けず嫌いですから、きっと心の中で先輩をライバルみたいに思ってますよ。
Sakura puts down into... Wait, she puts rice into a bowl as she talks. It's almost 6:30. No, it's almost 8:30 here. The archery club's morning practice starts at 7. It's not mandatory, but she can't afford to take it easy.
藤根はそろそろか。ま、この時間に来ない方が悪いんだし、さくら、先に食べていいよ。
そうですね。はい、どうぞ先輩。
Sakura hands me a bowl with a genuine smile. I'm guessing that line means you blush because of that weird noise you just made. Then, period. I'm used to this every morning, but her white fingers catch my eye. Why are you mourning so much? How can I put this? It's troubling. She must be maturing as she seems really feminine these days. Her casual movements are beautiful, and she often takes my breath away. Perhaps it's a reaction to not feel anything for her until now, but I'm noticing more and more feminine characteristics in her. Ah.
先輩、どうかしましたか？
Yes, everything is wrong.
いや、どうもしてない。どうもしてないから気にしないでくれ。
Come on, Shiro, she's been living with you basically for a year and a half. Question mark? Dot. Honestly, why am I feeling tensed around my friend's sister? She's a good underclassman and my junior I need to take care of. Wink wink. First off, the relationship between me and Mato Sakura is just that of a senpai and a junior. She's the sister of a close friend of mine. Not really a close friend, but you can believe what you want. But since she's a grade below me, we aren't that close. It all changed a year and a half ago into this cooperative kind of relationship in which she does favors for you. Anyway, Sakura comes to cook when I was injured, and after that I think we just ended up like this. Like what? I think we intended to do it. Okay, yeah. Good for you. Until my injury healed, but some trivial thing came up to make her stay with it. Anyways, Sakura's a good cook and perfect at cleaning and doing the laundry. She's been a big help around here, but it's been a bit troubling recently. The problem is not in Sakura, but me. Always Shiro's fault. Dashed line probably means he's blushing. I'm just gonna assume that for now. Frankly, Sakura is beautiful. She's one of the best looking first years, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys who want to date her. Sorry. And on top of that, she's been growing in certain places recently, and some of her casual gestures have started to catch my eye. My candy for Emiya? Sure, no doubt. That's what I mean by a small problem. Maybe I'm just feeling guilty about being attracted to my friend's sister. Usually I'm fine, but when I'm caught off guard like this, I blush. Does this make me an unsuitable senpai? Alright, with that I'm gonna end the video. For now, since it is really close to 30 minutes and in 5 seconds, it'll be there. Alright, thanks for staying tuned and watching my videos and looking at my channel. I'm just doing this since I enjoy the series so much. I hope you guys can enjoy this with me too. Peace out.